Hello everyone, this is Frosty and welcome to the channel. So before we get into it, like, sub, and finish the video so that you can actually comment. Alright, so today's video going to be reacting to this idea of, as the title says of this video we're watching, why men can be promiscuous and women can't. And this is basically just an idea where we're just talking about can men and women really be doing these things? And specifically they're saying men can and women can't. So we're just trying to see my thoughts on it and the thoughts of the people in the panel. Yeah, we all know Fresh and Fit. These guys are cool. They make cool content. I did watch this live stream but a few days ago, so I don't really remember what these girls said. So this is going to be a surprise for me as well. So yeah, not entirely a surprise. It's going to be just one of those like, oh, but yeah, it's enough. And then we're going to judge basically what they're going to be saying to see if it makes sense or not. Like, because obviously as women they're going to try to say no. If a man has to do it, then I'll do it, or he's not doing it at all, blah blah blah. They think that they can say that. So yeah, let's get into it and see what's up.
That being said, if it's the right guy taking care of you, can give you kids and a family and a nice lifestyle, why would you say no?
We all have requirements. I mean, I'm not saying no to that.
The difference is that men's requirements aren't respected.
Yeah,
that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, we can have standards.
Women can. When women have standards.
All right, so yeah, he's got a point there, because the thing is, women, for the longest time, they basically believe that the world belongs to them. The world basically revolves around them. Like, if you meet a girl, like even the concept of dating itself, for the most part, the perception that's there around is basically that the world revolves around the girl. So for example, when you're trying to date a girl, you have to take her out, you have to do these things, you need to, be confident, be all this and that, all that stuff. You need to have good hair, not like my bush up there, but like it's like you have to be all these things. But then if a guy says, I want you to do this for me, I remember I was having a conversation like a few days ago where this chick was basically trying to argue that men ask for too much, especially when they come into marriages, and I'm like, what? So it's just one of those where they think everything revolves around them. So the moment that a man puts his foot down, like, this actually works, right? Because girls might say that it doesn't work, don't do that. But then if you put your foot down and say, these are the requirements I want in my relationship, you actually then end up being more masculine, because you're taking up the role. The relationship belongs to the man, not the woman. At the same time, the sex and all that stuff does belong to the woman. So yes, she can dictate boundaries there, but she can't dictate boundaries that are basically not in your favor when it comes to your relationship. Because like I said, if a chick says I don't like this in bed, fine, I can't force her to do all those things in bed. But then at the same time, the woman cannot tell me what to do in my relationship and say, well, if you do this, I'm going to leave, then leave. Just as if she doesn't want to do what I want to do in bed, I just leave. So it's that situation. But the thing is, overall, the guy's requirements in a relationship are not even looked at. The moment that you want to have requirements as a guy in a relationship, everyone's like, how dare you do that, blah blah, that's not good. And then in the West, they call you a misogynist for that stuff. So yeah, and then at the end of the day, if you look at the woman, she's getting everything. So that's a funny thing that happens in the world when it comes to dating. It's quite funny. I'm laughing right now.
6 feet tall, making a certain amount of money. I want him to be attractive, confident, whatever. No one bats an eye. It's considered preferences. If I say I don't want a woman that's fat, obnoxious, masculine, or a hoe, people are going to shame me and say, how dare you? You're a misogynist. That's the difference, ladies. That's the real talk difference.
How dare you?
Female standards are considered preferences. Male standards are considered discrimination.
Exactly.
And that is why people love this show, because I say what men wish they can say, but if you talk like this, you get canceled. We've been banned off TikTok 6 times.
So yeah, that's the difference between where they are from and where I'm from. Because I'm in Africa, Zimbabwe, right? And yes, it is like that, where I can't really say, because if I say these things, obviously the chick's gonna be like, fuck this guy, then she's not gonna date me. I can't go up to a girl and say, look, yes, I like you, I love you, blah blah blah, but I'm going to be sleeping with a lot of other girls, right? She's gonna look at me like, are you crazy? So yeah, I like that part is similar. The only difference is usually the male side of things is not attacked as much as it is in the West. Because right now, if the guy is like, yes, because one thing that I noticed about feminists, and this is going to be a tangent, I think, but I don't think it's going to be that long. But basically, what I noticed with feminists is that they act like a girlfriend who wants to be in the boyfriend space. So for example, as a guy, if I decide that if I'm going to spend my day, at work, and then at night I want to play a game or two, then also watch maybe my favorite TV show. For the sports guys, they want to watch their match. The girl wants the attention, so she wants to take your attention away from the things that you want. And then also, when that doesn't work, they now want to enter that space so that they are part of it. Of which sometimes, especially for me, I don't like that. That's why I find it really hard to stay with a girlfriend sometimes, because the moment that she's now craving that type of attention, and it usually comes, like, let's just say 70% of the time, that's going to happen where the chick now wants to be a part of your life in a way that is just invasive, in my opinion at least. Like, it ends up being invasive for me. So that's the idea here, where they want to control everything because the relationship is about them. Then I actually lost the point that I was going at, so I'm just going to move on. But basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the feminists usually, they do that thing of the girlfriend where they want to get in, but then they don't really want to work to be able to be in that position anyways, which doesn't work, because as a guy I can do these things because I managed to do this, right? So it's that type thing with guys. But then feminists just want it. They're like, yeah, I know you had to work for that, but I just want it. So that's why males and females will never be able to see eye to eye when it comes to relationships, because we look at the world differently. And I get punished for voicing out what I want or what is going on.
Times I get death threats from feminists every single day. It is what it is. If I gotta tell the truth, I'll do it for guys, because no guy wants to feel slighted and pay full price for something that's been used, man. And that's what marriage is. That's what a serious relationship is. That's how men quantify relationships in their head. So, did you have some, Kat?
I was just gonna say, what about a promiscuous guy? Like, a woman can't.
All right. So this chick Kat, I remember her from when I watched the live stream. I'm not gonna lie, she's really, really attractive. Like, I would give her an 8, straight up 8. But then I'm not just saying this to praise her. I'm saying this for a point. Now I want you to listen to her now. Like, remember, she's okay. I would say most guys, when they look at this chick, they would want to bang, and the simps who simp, and the guys that are not really simps but they still simp to a certain point just to get what they want, they will do that. Then they're going obviously be guys that are going to put her in a place. But that number of guys that are going to put her in a place based on her attractiveness is a small number. Now listen to what she has to say.
Be promiscuous, but has any of these ladies have been with a promiscuous guy?
I'm going to use a quote, and you guys could take it how you want. A key that opens many locks is a master key. A lock that opens to any key is a shitty lock. Men and women are not the same. We're extremely different. A man that has sex with a lot of women has to bring value. We can go around the table. All of you guys described your certain guy. That is a small...
All right, so when I discussed this with some chicks, they didn't understand what I meant when I said something along those lines, that if I'm able to sleep with a lot of girls, that means that I'm very valuable in the market, whereas you are not. They didn't get that. Well, let me try to, fix that understanding for you. You know that for me as a guy to date, I need to make a certain amount of money. If I don't have that money, then I have to have game. If I don't have game and money, then I have to have looks, and those looks are going to take me so far, because a girl can look at me from afar and like, damn, he's attractive. Then I go up to her and I'm like, what's up, what's up, what's up? No game? I'm thrown out. All right? So for you to be successful, at least at a consistent rate, not a high one, I said consistent, not high, at a consistent rate, you need to have at least these three, like these three things, where you have your looks up to a certain point, you've got your game. And when I'm talking about game, I'm talking about all that stuff: confidence, know how to talk to girls, know how to flirt, know how to initiate sex and all that stuff. That's the game. And then you also have to be making some money to be able to contextualize everything, because we always make a joke that when you take a girl out and you buy her a drink or chips and all that stuff, right, when you're chilling, that stuff is just to contextualize the situation so that you can get what you want. I know I'm chopping that word right now, but it doesn't matter. That's the point. So then as a guy, I have to bring, let's just say, minimum 2 of these things. So if I have game and looks, then I'm going to be very good. If I have game and money, then that means I'm going to have a little bit of an advantage. But the point is, I have to have this stuff. A chick doesn't even have to say a word, all right? And even if she says the wrong thing, let's put it to the extreme. If she says the wrong thing, she acts a certain way, she's playing around in a fantasy and she's acting all weird, like those type of chicks that a lot of guys will be like, not me. they would say, not me in terms of relationship, but they'll still want to smash. So she'll still get that attention because she's still at the gate holding the guy off from the 6. All right. So that's where the value thing comes in. I'm more valuable because the fact that I'm sleeping with 2-3 girls a week, that means that I've achieved all these things to a certain degree. That means that I'm now valuable. As a woman, you having sex with one guy, like with 100 guys is easy. You can just walk down to the streets and be like, who wants to have it? And a lot of guys will come. So that there's nothing valuable about something that anyone can have, right? The reason why my phone is very valuable to some girls is because my phone is something that I don't even need to put a password. It's taboo to touch my phone, for example. Taboo, complete taboo. No one touches my phone. That makes whatever is in my phone valuable. But if your phone, anyone can touch, like anyone can just pick it up, then a lot of people won't even pick it up because they know nothing will happen to me. Because probably there's nothing important in there. So that's the concept that they're trying to pull out on these girls. And that's the concept I tried to explain to the other girls and they didn't understand. So if 0 of you girls are watching this video, I hope you now understand.
Percentage of men. If a man has sex with a lot of women, I know by default he has to bring a lot to the table because women are sexually selective. But if a woman has sex with a lot of men, I know she doesn't have value because men are not sexually selective. That's the difference why men can...
See, that's why you need smarter people around you. He said it way better than I did in a few sentences.
be promiscuous and women can't.
Damn. Ether.
I don't make the rules. I just report them. It's not fair that you guys can get into nightclubs for free. It's not fair that you guys can sell feet pictures on OnlyFans and make $10,000 a month. It's not fair that once I inseminate inside you, I lose all reproductive rights. Life isn't fair. It is what it is. But this is one of the few privileges that men have over women, where they have.
And women hate it. They hate the fact that we have this privilege because here's the thing. You know, having a lot of options is the same as an alcoholic having a lot of beer in the fridge, right? They would be pissed that you've hidden the beer or you're telling them not to drink it. They'll be pissed like, hey dude, because it makes sense. You've got a lot of it. Why not just drink it? I mean, I'm going to be drunk and undrunk in a few hours. Can drink again. That's the same as a woman having a lot of options. And it's the same as a man. But then again with the man, it's all like if you want to take the beer analogy and apply it to a man has to maybe physically fight something to get to that beer, right? There's a difference there, whereas the woman just opens the fridge and gets it. That's the difference. So yeah,
they can have sex with a lot of women, but here's the difference though. There's checks and balances. It's hard for men to have sex with a lot of women.
Super hard.
As a matter of fact, only about.
Not when you're my ex.
Okay.
Well,
He made it very.
Remember when I said this chick is really attractive, right? And this plays into what she's about to say. So listen.
Very easy, and there was no standards there.
Okay, Kat, how much money did your ex make?
Not a lot.
How much did
No,
he make?
he definitely was over 6 figures.
She says not a lot.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. She says not. She's saying that her ex can get a lot of guys, a lot of girls, right? Then his argument is a lot of guys actually can't do that. Then she's like, well, not if you're my ex. She describes a man who makes like 6 figures, which is like over $100,000, and she's calling that not a lot. I want you to put that in context for a second. She's saying that's not a lot, which means that because she's attractive, she will never understand the struggles of men, and she will still go through this delusion of, yeah, a guy should be monogamous to me. And I'm using the word should deliberately, meaning that she thinks that the guy doesn't have a choice. And then by the time she turns 30, that's going to change, because like, look at her, she's really, really attractive. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would seriously smash. But then the only reason why she thinks that is because a lot of guys are saying or acting on what I'm just saying right now, that I would smash. Right? And she thinks that, and the funny thing is I don't understand this part of females. Like, I completely don't understand this part. A lot of the stuff I understand why it happens, it's just funny to me, but this part I don't understand. I understand that girls like attention, but why is it that they still consider all that attention as viable when 70 to 80% of that attention they don't even like look at, they just get it, you know? So I don't get that, but then, well, maybe someday I will.
How tall was he?
5'10".
Okay, so he made about $100,000 a year, so 5'10".
Yeah.
Okay. just off of those two parameters alone, I'm not even going into if is he in shape or whatever it is.
Or
That man is within like the top 6% of men. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that women don't understand. The reality is this: a very small percentage of men are having sex with the majority of the women. About 10 to 20% of the guys are fucking about 90% of the girls. It is what it is. That is why, what I said before, if a man has sex with a lot of girls, he inherently has value to some degree. Smashing girls is social proof to some level, but a girl smashing a lot of dudes destroys her value. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So even though you're saying, my guy had sex with a lot of girls, that's irrelevant because he's a small percentage of men, and it proves my point even further that men, it's tough for them to get sex. So if he does, he's bringing value to some degree.
And also,
Yeah, but, like,
those guys
what
making 400K or 500K a year, I guarantee you, they're banging hella girls, and you're never gonna be the only one. Never.
That's why I told you earlier, if you deal with a guy like that, you're gonna have to share him.
What if it came
Can you
to,
talk
like,
into the mic, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Honestly, I'm not even gonna get. I don't even want to get into this. I was gonna go like deep into our relationship.
Sure, go
and,
ahead.
Like, no, it's honestly not
Okay,
anymore.
alright.
But I'm just gonna say, like, if he's flying out to like another state to fuck a bitch that he met on a fetish website, like that's a different story. Like you got many girls in your circle in your state. Like you don't need to be going out of your way to go fuck a girl that you met online.
That's still cat.
So I didn't know where she was going with this, but then I got the gist of what she's saying. She is basically trying to control how guys, like, you know, Fresh and Fit usually use this analogy, the candy store analogy, and a lot of people love that analogy because it basically explains why the dude can do that. But there's one thing that I see a lot of people miss. So the basic gist of the candy store analogy is that a girl gets into the candy store for free, whereas the guy has to work to get into it. So he has to make a certain amount of money, he has to be fit, he has to be at the gym, blah blah blah, all this stuff. He has to have game. Then when he gets into the candy store, and then when they're now both in the candy store, the guy is obviously like 10 to 15 years behind the girl, because the girl got in a long time ago if they're at the same age. And then that means that the girl has basically chosen her favorite candy. But then the guy, since he has never been in there, he's now finally in there, he's going to eat as much candy as he wants. And then so a lot of people then basically say that, well, that's equivalent to saying a guy who works enough and is now valuable enough, he can sleep with a lot of women, whereas the women don't have a right to tell them not to. And then another small layer that you can add on top of that is, when a man has reached a certain level, and a lot of men aspire to reach this level so that they don't have to deal with shit like this, where a chick thinks she should control how he handles his business, and that includes his relationship. Because I usually say the relationship, yes, both of you are in a relationship, but the person who owns the relationship or the owner of it is the dude, because the dude controls access to it, so it's his, just like it's your body, it's his relationship. So it's one of those things where you, as a woman, who not just as a woman, even for guys, this goes for everyone. No one can tell someone how to act or how to do anything, especially if that's someone they're trying to tell, and to work to get to that certain point where you can do all these things. You've got no right to do that. But then, because she's beautiful and pretty and hot, and look at the way she's sitting, she knows it's going to trigger a lot of things. Like, I know a lot of guys looking at this, their blood increased its speed in the system. Like, I get that, but it's because she looks like this and she talks like that and she's all sexy that she thinks she can say things like this. And that's fine, she can, but it's still dumb and delusional at the end of the day.
Or some crazy fetish.
We gotta stay on the topic at hand. The topic at hand is, why can men fuck girls and a lot of girls and still have value, and women can't fuck a lot of dudes and have value? You're proving my point even further. Your ex had options in his own state to include outside of his immediate geographic area. So that proves my point even further, that he has a larger pool of female candidates because of his status.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was a confessional in Catholic Church.
Yeah, like,
goddamn.
So yeah, we can end it there. So yeah, this was an interesting video. I did watch this live stream, but I usually watch these like in the morning, just after like waking up, because these, like, to them it's like around what? It's around because I think they're 2 hours behind me, or they're 2 hours behind me. So that means that when it's 2 a.m. that side, or 1 a.m. or whatever, when they start, it's around like 3 for me. So I'll be gone, I'll be asleep. So yeah, I usually watch this on demand, but I don't really remember, and it's because I'll be half asleep. So this was actually interesting, and yeah, this chick cat, like I say, she's really attractive, but that's a disadvantage for her now in the sense that she basically misses a lot of things that happen when it comes to relationships and all that stuff. She's missing it because she's attractive. If she wasn't as attractive as she is, if she was a 3, she would understand these things because she knows that, well, she won't have a lot of options. Just like a lot of guys understand that, well, I have to do this and that in order to get a girl. A guy cannot afford to be like, yeah, a girl that's good for me is gonna come. I'll be chilled. I won't settle for less. Like I used to think like that at a certain extent, where I just wanted to date, really, really attractive chicks, and I lowered my chances of success and my pool because like 9s and 10s or 8s, these chicks, it's already hard to find them, especially my age. And I'm talking about these things collectively. Like it's hard to find them and be able to get them. It's hard. You get them there and there, like, and it depends how you're getting them. So that made my pool really slow. But then when I lowered my standards a bit, when I started dating chicks that were just above average or average chicks, things got better, and I actually got better relationships that way. And yeah, the relationships were better. But yeah, I'm just odd in certain situations where these things I practice, they are not conducive to relationships, especially on the girl side. So I get that. But then I had to accept that because I'm a dude. She doesn't have to, because all the dudes, from the really attractive dudes to the dudes that are not attractive, they're still coming at her. So she doesn't have to. That's one of the differences we have with men and women, or girls and guys, all that stuff. So yeah, this is Frosty, and I'm out.